here at the Rogue Invitational.
We did. The Dual 2 is just a bit of a different spin, different flavor, if you will. It's one legless rope climb into 10 overhead squats. The load isn't tremendously heavy for these athletes at 135 for the men and 95 for the ladies. And then we've got a cyclone bag carry to the finish at 200 pounds for the fellas and 150 for the ladies.
And in an event this fast, you just can't make mistakes. What are the keys to success?
You know, accuracy is the first thing, Sean, that comes to my mind, but not just with these rope climbs. Of course, the hand-over-hand method's going to need to be quick and your descent needs to be accurate, but the depth with the squats as well. You can't afford a no rep, and it's important to stand and show the judge what they want to see in that hip extension at the top of every rep. Then lastly, transition speed. I know we've got 3 elements in this test, but there's a 4th, and it's hidden, and it is the transition time from movement to movement.
We will start with 3 heats of 5 athletes. The top 5 women in the overall standings, Horvath, Magawa, Thorsdottir, Lawson, and Barnhart, all get a bye into the second round. The top 10 times from these first 3 heats will advance into round 2. There's Danny Spiegel, who will be in lane number 3.
She had a great
Spiegel
start
coming
to
in
the day.
16th place overall.
Yeah, had a great start to the day, and you'd like to think that some of that momentum from her heat win is going to help carry into this test here.
We start with the one legless rope climb. Annika Greer closest to the screen.
And speed matters, Sean. How quick can they tab the top and then get down quickly is tremendously important. It's not just can they do a legless rope climb, it's how fast.
Manon Anganez in the long gray pants is the first woman to the barbell. Danny Spiegel is next to her in the green pants, and she has a really good pace going here. Annika Greer is the first woman through. She will pick up the 150-pound cyclo bag, and she has to take it 75 feet across the finish line. It's going to be Annika Greer who takes the heat. Spiegel is second. Manon Anganez will be third. Here comes Olivia Kerstetter. She and Andrea Solberg, the last 2 women to finish. So 41.57 seconds for Greer, the top time.
That's a little fast. Just a little fast. And I think what we can notice here right out of the gate is that legless rope climb played a significant role. But Annika Greer's ability to cycle her overhead squats with clean reps, showing the judge what they needed to see in regards to depth and hip extension at the top, is what resulted in her getting a lead to that bag.
41.57 seconds unofficially for Annika Greer. And heat 1 is done as Annika looks to advance into round number 2, and that mark will certainly help her achieve that. One more look at Annika Greer's run in heat number 1.
Right out of the gate. Notice even the jump from the pad. It's important to create momentum up. Annika has a great leg swing that allows her to feel as though she's almost kipping up that rope. And then it was a race to the barbell. Execution here matters. It's going to be easy for athletes to start wobbly. If you can get a great rep with that first squat snatch, it's going to pay off. And it put Annika in a great situation as she is pounding through those overhead squats. And the first to drop. Got to be willing to get a bit reckless with the cyclone bag. Now, the audience will notice that this can be a tad easier to pick up and hold on to because it's actually thicker at the top and more narrow at the bottom, so it kind of fits the parameters of us wrapping our arms around it and holding it against our body.
1 heat down, 2 to go in this opening round, and remember the top 5 women in the overall standings receive a bye into round number 2, and they are out there right now just getting in some reps. They're on the right side of your screen. They just passed out of view, but they've been working on some overhead squats and just trying to stay loose as they wait for round 2.
There's a lot to be learned as they get to watch these other heats take the floor, but there's something to be said in being able to grease the groove and feel the heat of competition there on the floor. But we know the advantage is it pays to be a winner. You're getting to rest. You're getting less reps under tension here. Because of your placing already in your hard work.
There's Alexis Raptis, who has back-to-back finishes inside the top 6. She finished second in DT with a spin to close out Friday night, and then a 6th place finish earlier in the Turtle. Bailey Rogers, Emma McQuaid, Alexis Raptis, Carolyn Prevost, and Jacqueline Dahlstrom in this second of 3 opening heats in round number 1. 41.57 seconds was the top time from heat number 1 from Annika Greer. Top 10 times from these first 3 heats moving into round number 2 to join the top 5 women in the overall standings.
Yeah, we're taking 10 out of these 15, and this one is all about execution. You think they're feeling the pressure a little bit?
Just about ready to start heat number 2. 1 legless rope climb, 10 overhead squats, and then the 150-pound cyclone bag carry across the finish line. Here we go.
Good jump. Pretty even race right out of the gate. Hand over hand for all these ladies. No kipping needed.
Bailey Rogers first to make the touch. She'll get to the barbell just ahead of Alexis Raptis and Carolyn Prevost. Emma McQuaid in the white shirt on the left side. She's right there as well.
Here we go. Athletes focused on driving right through the middle of their foot. You can't get too far back in the heels. You certainly can't travel forward on the toes and let the weight pull you forward.
Seen a couple no reps handed out. Emma McQuaid got hit with one, as did Jacqueline Dahlstrom, and now Alexis Raptis is in the lead alongside Carolyn Prevost. Here comes Bailey Rogers.
Oh, Prevost got that bag up quick.
Raptis and Prevost in a foot race to the finish. They are dead even. Raptis falls. Prevost makes it across cleanly. Now Raptis has got to get across because here comes Jacqueline Dahlstrom. And I think Raptis was able to hang on as Bailey Rogers and Emma McQuaid are across. But Carolyn Prevost will get the heat win. Waiting for her official time. But Alexis Raptis with the trip. We will see if that will cost her. 1 heat remains here. But a great race between those two, and now they're able to share a laugh about it. But
yeah, you love to see it, right? And they're going to, quote unquote, risk it for the biscuit here. Alexis put it all on the line because she knew that it was down to hundredths of a second that was going to separate her from Prevost, and that is really what we've got to see. Now, you hate to see an athlete fall or falter, but it's a part of competition. What you love most is that they're able to laugh it off, get back to the athlete area, reset, and get their minds right because they know there's likely a chance for them both to have an opportunity to take the field again.
So one more look at heat number 2. That came down to the cyclone bag, and we saw a couple no reps on the overhead squats.
This seemed to be a pretty clean run for several of the athletes out of the gate until, like you mentioned, Sean, we saw some no reps in the overhead squat, which are costly.
Alexis Raptis and Bailey Rogers got to the barbell at about the same time. And there was the first no rep for Jacqueline Dahlstrom at the bottom of your screen, and then Emma McQuaid got hit with one as well, and another, as did Dahlstrom.
And what I'll say most about Prevost, she probably has one of the slower cycle rates of these overhead squats, but you know what? Every rep counted, and she knew it, and it allowed her to get off that barbell quick and onto the bag. The security and position that she grabbed it with and how quickly is what separated her from the rest of the field here, and of course the slip up there by Raptis.
And then Alexis Raptis was able to gather herself and get across the finish line just ahead of Jacqueline Dahlstrom as the top 10 times from these first 3 heats move on to round number 2. Third and final heat here in the opening round. The athletes making their way to the starting positions.
And I'll say Raptis, her ability to rebound quickly and respond to that adversity, get up and finish. Wow, that's a lot of in-the-moment focus and not letting that particular time become bigger than you as a competitive athlete there on the field.
There is Ellie Turner, 7th place overall. Slow start to the competition with a 12th and a 17th, but since then, everything 8th or better, a 2nd, a 3rd, and then an 8th place in the Turtle as she has been climbing up the standings, now 315 points. And Danielle Brandon has been moving the right way after a 19th place in back attack. And there is Cara Saunders, who currently sits in 10th place overall, coming off an 11th place finish in the Turtle.
And I like what Danielle Brandon's going to have an opportunity to do here, opening with a legless rope climb. And then the question mark really is going to remain, what's she going to do with the bag? Can she get it in a secure position and move that external load? Because it's not light, but it's something that she can handle. And we know those heavier loads can be something of a limiter for her.
Matilda Garnes, Ellie Turner, Danielle Brandon, Ariel Lowen, and Cara Saunders. There's Matilda Garnes, 9th place overall. Best finish of the competition was a 4th in the opening event on Thursday, Texas Trail. Third and final heat of the opening round has begun. It's Matilda Garnes and Danielle Brandon. Brandon makes the touch first, just ahead of Garnes. Here goes Danielle to the barbell for her 10 overhead squats. And Cara Saunders is behind her, as is Matilda Garnes, but Brandon wasting no time.
She dusted that first squat snatch, hit the proper depth, has her judge in a rhythm of just counting reps instead of judging like a hawk, watching her all so closely, and that got off the barbell quick.
Brandon now to the cyclo bag along with Cara Saunders. Brandon has that thing hoisted up, and she is heading towards the finish line. Here comes Cara Saunders right behind her. Brandon's going to take the heat. Saunders is across. Ellie Turner will take third, followed by Garnes and Ariel Lowen. And now we have to figure out who had the top 10 times and who will join the top 5 athletes in the overall standings in round 2. And pretty much a done deal that Danielle Brandon's going to be one of them.
Yeah, and you even see it. Her demeanor immediately is like, okay, I finished. Get me off this. I need to get myself ready for the next round. I'm hungry for more. She had a bad taste and went down yesterday in regards to some of the events and their outcome, and she's out for business.
Now, Brandon won the opening event of the competition, then took a 9th, and then it was the back attack event, the back squats and the box jump overs, that really derailed her. She missed a rep. The barbell hit the ground. It's 275 pounds, and the athletes are responsible all by themselves to re-rack that. She had to strip weight, move it back up, and at that point, she was out of contention for any sort of solid finish there. But since that 19th place finish, she has bounced back, a 7th and then a 3rd earlier today. Let's take a look back at this third and final heat as Danielle Brandon goes wire to wire.
Smoked that initial rep right there. Executing a clean squat snatch sets athletes up for success for the rest of the 9 reps. And she did fantastic with this bag, which I questioned earlier. How would she respond to that load and carrying it the distance? She showed us. She smoked it.
They will tabulate the scores and figure out who